Today we're talking to St Albans City manager Ian Allinson at Topfield, where the Saints' first competitive match of the season has ended in a penalty shootout defeat to Hitchin Town in the Herts Charity Cup after a 2-2 draw. Looking back at pre-season, Ian, it was disrupted. In the end, do you think you had enough games to really look at the players and enough time for the players to get to know each other?
Yeah, I think we've had enough time. I mean, obviously, when the pre-season did get disrupted, we managed to reverse the Watford game, and I'm thankful to Watford for allowing us to go to their training ground and playing on their fabulous pitches. So that worked from that side of it. Obviously, we've trained on the other two occasions when we've lost games, so not ideal, but unfortunately, with the circumstances, we have to respect everything that happened from that side of it. But no, I've been pleased. I've been pleased with the pre-season. The first 3 or 4 games were very tough, and then we've ended up with 3 really tough games away to Chesham, Hitchin here tonight, and Harlow last Tuesday. All teams that finished in the top 8 of their respective divisions, and it's been a good last sort of week for us.
We've seen a few players come and go. Is this now the squad that is going into Saturday, or have you got any more still up your sleeves to sign?
No, this is a squad. I just feel we're probably just still a forward short from where we need to be, but that's what, we've got to make sure it's the right forward we bring in. So I'm not going to panic on that, because I've got 3 or 4 that can play in that area. But if the right person becomes available and it's right for the club, then we'll bring somebody in. But certainly the squad we got here now will be the squad that will go obviously to Oxford on Saturday, and then as I say, if the forward becomes available, we'll hopefully strike quite quickly, and we can bring an additional body to the squad.
A few supporters, I think, would have liked to have seen the first team you're going to play on Saturday out there tonight. But obviously you rested a few players. You don't want to take any risks.
Well, I don't think we've got it's very difficult to say that we've got a first team squad, because I think we've got a squad of 17 there, and we've seen all season that everybody can come in and play. So, it's really, we've got 2 or 3 injuries there, and it's whether they'll be fit for Saturday, and whether we can risk them on Saturday. So it was right to rest them tonight, but it was right to go in there with the squad we had tonight, because, as I say, with injuries and tiredness and a bit of stiffness, we didn't want to risk anybody. But it was also, a lot of these players might play on Saturday because it's the way it's been all season. We've mixed it and matched it, and it's worked quite well. And again tonight, we 2-0 down after 15 minutes. Disappointed to be 2-0 down, but we actually got back into it quite well. And what we did in the end, in the last 20 minutes, I felt we could have gone and won the game.
Of course, 2 goals down to Jack Green, former Saints, made his mark. We did start really slowly, but I agree with you. As longer the game went on, we got stronger. You must have been surprised by how poorly we started.
Yeah, it was difficult, because obviously again it was a set piece, and obviously it's difficult because James Russell's made a poor mistake for the second goal, and he held his hand up in the changing room, so you can't legislate for stuff like that. It just disappointed me for the corner. We defended the first corner, we didn't get nobody out quick enough to close the ball down for the second corner, and Jack reacted quicker than anybody else. Second goal was down to James Russell. He makes the mistake, and if he doesn't make the mistake, we go in at 1-1. But the pleasing thing for me was the 2 goals we scored tonight, and the sort of 3 or 4 chances we created in the second half, which could quite easily led us to win. Obviously it was always going to be difficult because he was chasing the game, that was always going to leave himself a little bit exposed at the back. But overall it was a good workout for the players that got the 90 minutes. It was also good for players that got 30 minutes. So overall I was really pleased with it.
You've already mentioned you think we might be 1 striker short. What about the rest of the squad? Do you have the balance of that?
Yeah, it's we've got sort of 4 centre halves, which is what was important. We've got 3 or 4 fullbacks now, with Lane came in, with Ben Hurd and Tom Bender. Also, young Percy can play right back and centre half. Midfield, we've got an abundance of midfield players with David Noble, obviously Solomon Kieran, Scotty Thomas. Ben Hurd can play in there, and then we've got sort of 3 wide players with Zane, Reese and Sean Lucian. So the only area at the moment, we know Zane can play up front alongside Charlie Walker and Sam Merson. So the balance of the squad is really good. We've got players that can fill in. It's only going to be a 17, 18 man squad. We're not going to be in a position where we can take any more than that. If injuries and suspensions come along, then we'll have to assess it then. But we're not in a position to carry a massive squad. We've got to go with what we've got, which is what was out there today. If we can add the additional forward, it'd be great. If not, we'll wait and see where we are. And obviously we brought Dean Snedker in goal. We've still got Rusty who'll sign, but his commitments this year is not going to be to the level it was in the last few years. So that's the squad. We have to get on with it. We can't moan about things. We'll go with what we've got. We'll assess it again, as I said to you last year, after sort of 6 to 8, 10 games, see where we are, and then if we have to change things around and maybe bring more personnel in, we'll have to do that. But at the moment, I'm quite happy with what we've got. As I said, we've had 3 tough away games, and we've managed to come, apart from obviously a defeat on penalties. It's been tough 3 away games.
So is that potentially loan signings possibly coming in?
It's something we'll have to look at, Neil, in terms of where we are. But I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to panic before the weekend. I like the balance of the squad. I like the shape of the squad. I know we can play 2 systems, 3 systems now if we have to, which is important. And we've got some very good explosive players. And the one thing we've got to do is go and turn some of our possession into goals now. We probably haven't done that, but it's very difficult when you're playing Peterborough first team and you're playing Cambridge United first team and you're playing Watford under 23s, who we created some very good chances on that day, just didn't take them. And then if you look at the Billericay game, we probably opened up Billericay more than we should have done, considering the talent they've got in their side, and we should have been out of sight before we allowed them to get 2 goals late on. So we then go back to Harlow, 2-0 up. Sam Merson has a chance to go 3-0 up. We got a dubious penalty given against us. Saturday was a tough game at Chesham, and we've got another tough game here. But full respect to Hitchin, they got beat by Leamington in the playoff final last year, so they could quite easily have been in our league this year playing against us. So they've got a good squad here. He's maintained a lot of the players from last year. So to come here and get a 2-2 result, even though we've lost on penalties, I was more than happy with that. And we've managed to get the whole squad 90 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes over the last sort of 2 or 3 games, which has been good.
Yeah, you mentioned the systems there. You started off with wing backs, and that seemed to work okay. Ben Hur was certainly involved for the first goal, and then after that, the substitutes came on, and I thought 4-3-3, and when I even went to 2 wingers, looked as if you were dangerous going as well there.
It's just something we've been trying over the last couple of games, Neil, in terms of what formations we can play, and I can go and play both formations, which is good for me now because I know that we can do it. I think it took us a little bit to get used to it in the first 15 minutes today, because obviously we gave goals away, but we didn't give goals away from the shape. We gave goals away because we didn't react quick enough to the corner, and the second one, as I said, was a horrendous mistake by James, and he's held his hand up in there. So it's something that we was looking at. It's difficult to play against the pro sides and try and change your system, so we set up a system that would work for us in them games, and then a lot of it is to maintain, not leave any holes, and try and obviously frustrate them, and which I felt we did, apart from Hitchin in the Peterborough in the second half, where they brought on a fresh 11 and they obviously scored the 3 goals. But apart from that, Cambridge and Billericay and Watford, I've been really pleased. And then against these games here, it gave us an opportunity to look at the 3s, gave us an opportunity to look at the 4. So I've got both options in my head now going into Saturday. We changed halfway through on Saturday at Chesham, in a game that I felt we were struggling to get a foothold in, and I felt in the last 20 minutes against them we could have gone and won the game. Sam Merson certainly had 2 or 3 opportunities to do that, and it also allows me to have 2 players up front, and that's something we've got to have a look at in terms of where we go in the next few weeks, because there's going to be certainly some games where we've got to go and score goals. We just can't rely on keeping clean sheets and nicking a goal. We've got to take the game to the opposition. We've got to make sure that we take our chances, and that's probably the one thing that I've looked at in terms of pre-season. We've probably not taken the amount of chances we've created. Even again in that last 20 minutes today, I think Reece Muriel-Williams has had 2 shots that have just gone wide of the post. Sean Lucian certainly had a shot that's gone wide. He's had 2 that the keeper's made saves. And we've got to be hitting the target every single time. We've got to be making the keeper make saves, and then we've got to react to the rebounds. Young Jack today, you see how he reacted for their first goal. The corner was cleared out and a great ball in from their lad, and Jack's got on the end of it and got a little nick on it and nicked it past Rusty. But we've put 3 balls in like that, and we've had nobody breaking their neck to get across the front man, and that's what I just said to Charlie and Sam Merson in there. If they get in across the front of the defenders, they've only got to get a little nick on that, and the keeper just takes his eye off the ball at times, and it could end up in the back post. So they're all the things we have to keep working on. We've got to go and work hard on Thursday night now on things, and hopefully we can put that into Saturday's game against Oxford, which is going to be a tough opener for us on the AstroTurf.
You mentioned Oxford City there, Ian. Last season they did double over us when we were flying. We've got an old score there to settle.
Well, I think it's any stage at any time, you don't really know what sort of game you're going to get, and as you said, at the time we was flying, they were probably just below mid-table, and I felt the first game at Clarence Park they taught us a lesson. In the second game the pitch was very, very heavy, and I felt we just didn't really turn up in both games really. So yeah, we have got a score to settle, but I think we've got 42 league games this year, which are going to be tough. We know what the league's all about. We know every game's going to be a situation where if you make mistakes, you get punished in this league. And the good thing about it, they have given us 7 places now for a playoff. And they're the things we've got to try and make sure that we try and target. And if we can do that, then it's all about winning games. And that's what we did in the first half of last season, which we didn't do in the second half of last season. We conceded too many goals. And then, you see what happened, and we've become short of confidence, and it became a very hard second half of last season. So this year we've got to get moving. We've got to take the game to the teams and hopefully pick up as many results as we can.
Well, you mentioned the plastic there. We ended last season with a 3-2 defeat at Eastbourne on their plastic pitch. We had a pre-season game at Harlow on there, so we've had a bit of practice on it before we go to Oxford.
And that was pleasing. I mean, it worked a treat with the Harlow game that we've now got Oxford, so it gave us even though they're probably going to be 2 different style of pitches. But again, as I said, at Eastbourne last year, I felt we played some good football there. So it's going to be slightly different to what we're used to, but I think most of the players, we train on it every Tuesday and Thursday, so no excuses whatsoever. We'll go there and hopefully be brave, and we can try and cause, it's not so much cause an upset as go and get a win.
Lovely, thanks so much, Ian, and all the best for the season ahead.
Thank you, David.
Cheers.